Good afternoon. I'm Alexandria Ferguson, Assistant Creative Director at O&M Partners, and welcome to the Aurion Resources Ltd. Town Hall webinar. Aurion Resources trades on the TSXV under the symbol AU and on the OTC under the symbol AIRRF. For those of you who are new to these broadcasts, O&M is the link between the investing public and public companies. In past times, these groups passed each other like ships in the night. Our digital roadmap enables us to keep pace with tremendous changes in investor demographics and how they receive information. We want this broadcast to answer all of your questions. Questions can easily be submitted by going to the question panel of the GoToWebinar platform or by emailing us directly. For any questions that remain unanswered, we will follow up in a timely manner after the webinar. For those of you who dialed in with your phone, the only way you can hear our pre-recorded introductory presentation is on your computer speakers. If that's not possible, you'll be able to hear the main presentation after 8 minutes, so please stay tuned. Our introductory presentation today comes from our special guest, Robert Kientz. He's the editor and publisher of goldsilverpros.com. Goldsilverpros.com is a premium subscriber digest that emphasizes long-term cycle investing in the precious metals market. Robert is also the author of the 2010 book, Drop Shadow, The Truth About the Economy. His formal education consists of a master's degree in information security and a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Robert is hosting the North American Monetary and Metals Virtual Conference in August, of which O&M is a proud sponsor. I'll turn the call over to Robert now.
Hello, everyone. This is Robert Kientz with goldsilverpros.com. I'll be giving the introduction to your feature presentation today. And to start off, I wanted to take a moment to talk about my company at Gold Silver Pros. We provide economic research and insight into the precious metals market. We've been writing for over 10 years, and in 2018 decided to start our website at goldsilverpros.com as an educational service to investors. If you wish to find out more, simply browse to goldsilverpros.com and click on the Who We Are. Today, I'm going to be talking about mining stocks in Finland. It's called An Investor's Perspective on the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt. Many of you may be wondering how many mining companies are actually operating in Finland and what type of mining district does it have. I'm going to be giving you some background on Finland and the mining characteristics. Prior to the 1990s, mining in Finland was conducted by the state. Since then, however, the government has allowed mining companies to come in and produce their vital resources. Finland currently ranks in the top 10 of the stable mining jurisdictions by the Fraser Institute. In addition, Finland also ranks in the top 15 of the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, ranking very similarly to Canada and just above Australia and the US. I wanted to take a moment to talk about the geology in Finland. Finland has several different mining districts within the country. They have a robust geologic profile, mostly Archean and Paleoproterozoic. They mostly mine gold, platinum group elements, copper, zinc, and nickel. And you can see here at the top a zone called the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt, which will be the feature topic of this presentation. But also notice that Finland has robust mining areas throughout the country. There is a lot of good mineralization. Finland metals revenue in 2018 can be shown in the following chart. The highest amount of revenue came from nickel at 45%, followed by gold at 26%, and copper at 18%. Cobalt and palladium both make 4%, where platinum comes in just behind at 3%. And a little bit of silver was produced, although it's overall negligible on the chart. So as you can see, Finland has quite a few useful minerals. Exploration expenditures in Finland have stayed around $60 million with the exception of 2011 and 2012. This is mostly because of the gold price and the influx of resource investment into the overall resource sector, reaching a peak of over $170 million in 2012. You can see that companies are exploring for many resources, including gold, the platinum group metals, zinc, lead, copper, nickel, uranium, diamonds, as well as other minerals as well. In addition, Finland comes in high on the Investment Attractiveness Index. In fact, in 2017, it was ranked as the top jurisdiction in the world for investment based upon the Attractiveness Index. In 2018, the Kittilä mine had 189,000 ounces of gold production. Total cash costs were only 853 ounce gold, and the 2019 forecast was for 175,000 ounce gold production. You can see on the right-hand side in this map, there are many operating mines across Finland, and there are a lot of advanced stage projects, most of them up near the CGLB area in northern Finland. There are huge benefits for developers in Finland, including it's a very safe jurisdiction. It has very cheap grid power. It has access to many good roads. It has abundant water. It has a very skilled workforce, has an airport, and favorable tax rate. The CLGB area mine successes include the following. It's considered to be an underexplored region of Finland. However, it does hold world-class gold, nickel, copper, and platinum group metal deposits. Several of these deposits include the Katila underground gold mine, which is owned by Agnico Eagle, and it has gold reserves of 4.4 million ounces. 2019 production guidance of 175,000 ounces at only 822 ounce gold cash cost, and it has a robust 17-year mine life. The Sakatti nickel, copper, platinum group deposit, owned by Anglo American, has resources of 44.4 million tons of 1.9% copper, 0.96% nickel, 0.04% cobalt, 0.64% grams per ton platinum, and 0.49 grams per ton palladium. Kevitsa nickel copper platinum group mine is owned by Boliden Mineral AB and has mineral resources of 157.8 million tons at 0.23% nickel, 0.33% copper, and 0.3% grams per ton combined gold, platinum, and palladium. According to the University of Oulu, the CLGB has a total reported gold endowment of over 10 million ounces. Most of those 10 million ounces lie within the Circa deposit. The university notes, however, that the Mustajarvi orogenic gold occurrence, which lies to the southern border of the CLGB, is in proximity to the first order Benejuku thrust zone, and it shares many of the features of the zones associated with recent gold discoveries. In other words, that means that there's a lot of unexplored geology in the CLGB area, and it has promising prospects of further major gold, copper, nickel, and platinum group metal discoveries. The university goes on to note in their research that this second style of mineralization has yet to be followed up by further drilling, and it indicates the openness of the gold mineralization in all directions, with great potential for more extensive gold mineralized system, especially at depth. So what about the overall infrastructure in Finland? Is it a good place for mines to open up? The country does have a stable network of roads, rail systems, and airports. The school system is globally recognized as generating well-educated graduates supporting various industries. The Geological Survey of Finland, also known as the GTK, employs over 400 people, and it provides electronic databases of geological information and surveys, which is very helpful to the junior miners who have very limited exploration budgets. Further, their exploration license provides wide-ranging rights to map, sample, trench, and to drill out a property. Two caveats to mining in Finland are that landholding costs are comparatively high with the rest of Europe and other mining areas of the world, and it's intended to promote exploration and development of resources quickly. Finland government does not want people just reserving acres and hanging around, not doing anything with them. There are also certain nature protection areas which could hinder access to some of the land within the CLGB zone, although the government of Finland is known to work with the miners in the area where a resource has been found. Hope that this information was helpful to you for your feature presentation coming up next. To end my presentation, I wanted to take a moment to talk about a very special online virtual conference that we'll be hosting for free on August 6th to 7th, 2020. It's called the North American Monetary Metals Summit, and we will have a robust feature of speakers to speak about the precious metal as well as the general economy. Our speakers include many well-known speakers in the economy and the precious metal sector. We will also have a robust agenda of meetings over the 2 days with access to speak to each of the speakers on each topic, including the precious metals, the economy, cryptocurrencies, and more. We also have many exhibitors signed up for the conference, so if you wish to talk to many of the companies in the resource space, they will be here to answer your questions. And we also have been blessed to be sponsored by many good companies, including precious metals companies, as well as precious metals dealers. We hope to see you there at the conference. Please stay tuned now for your feature presentation.
Thank you so much, Robert. That was fantastic. I'm going to turn now the call to our presenter from Aureon, Mark Santarosa. He's the Vice President of Corporate Development, and Mark has had over 15 years of a career in mining and capital markets, starting as an associate gold analyst, working with the top-ranked gold analysts in Canada and the US. He then moved to work in institutional sales and trading for various brokers, including Haywood Securities, CIBC World Markets, and Macquarie Capital, with a focus on mining. Most recently, Mark has worked as an M&A investment banker for Canada's largest boutique M&A advisory firm. He was also the CFO and VP of Corporate Development at GT Gold, a junior gold explorer looking for gold in Canada's Golden Triangle. Mark is a chartered professional accountant and earned his MBA from the Schulich School of Business in Toronto. Mark, I will turn the call over to you now.
Great. Thank you very much, Alexandra. And thank you very much to everyone at O&M for hosting this town hall for Aurion Resources. Just a quick overview of who we are. We're obviously, we are high-grade gold in Finland and exploring in the central Lapland Greenstone belt. Robert actually helped me out here by jumping ahead and covering some of my commentary. So we'll make it easier for me. Just some forward-looking statements. You can find this on our website, but you know, we will be making some forward-looking statements as we go along. I guess the important thing here, the important takeaway for us is that I want you to take away from this presentation are probably these three things. We are sitting on a district scale. We've got an excellent land package and very, very prospective land. We've already hit some very high grade, and we'll get into some of the areas where we've hit high grade, and we think there's a lot more to be found on our property. And then another piece here that I think is very important that I think is lost on a lot of juniors is that we are an aligned management board. As a shareholder group, we are the largest shareholder group. We have almost all of us have bought all of our stock in the market, so we have capital at risk like all other shareholders. We don't treat this like a lifestyle company. This is, we are looking to have everyone make money on this, shareholders and us alike. So a little bit of our shares, here's our share capital. 83 million shares outstanding, pretty good for a junior that's been exploring, as well as a decently well funded. We've got 11.4 million as of March 31st. Probably sitting closer to around $10 million in working capital as of right now. As mentioned, management and board own about 13.7%. The next largest shareholder would be Kinross, just under 10%. And then we've got several large shareholders. RBC Global Asset owns about 6%. Eric Sprott owns 5%. Ross Beatty, who's not on here, owns about 5% as well. And then we've got Newmont Goldcorp also owning just under 4%. We've got very good institutional shareholders and an excellent retail base as well. So fairly well balanced, but as you can see, we do have a lot of capital at risk in this company. And here's a quick snapshot of the opportunity that I think is here. A lot of our peers, the pre-resource, high grade, and safe mining jurisdictions have had a really good run this year so far, and we've seemed to have lagged. We think there's an opportunity there for us to do a bit of catch up here. So we think there's this is probably a great time to be getting introduced to the story if you don't know us already. A bit about our management and board. Our chairman is Dave Lotan. He owns about 9.5% of the company, all bought in the market. Very interesting fact about Dave is while he's our chairman, he takes no compensation, has no options, gets no benefits that other shareholders do not get. Like other shareholders, his intention is to see this through and see all shareholders benefit from a higher share price. Our new CEO and director recently joined us. Well, he's been as part of our team since 2015. He's been on the board. Recently joined as CEO. Excellent in country in Finland. He's well known there, having worked in a number of executive positions at Finnish companies in the mining and exploration. He's an excellent partner to our founder and president, Mike Bacha. who was the visionary to go to Finland and to explore for high-grade gold. In addition, just one other person to highlight here is independent director Kerry Sparks. He joins us from Franco, Nevada. He's allowed one board seat and one board seat only, and he chose ours, obviously seeing that the opportunity that we have here at Aureon. Important to know is Franco does not have any sort of share interest, or has no royalties on any of our properties either. So he is doing this of his own accord. A lot of this was covered in Robert's preamble, but just a few more reasons as to why Finland was a target for us. As you can see here, these are some major greenstone belts global. A lot of those which are fairly well known. The Abitibi in Canada, which is host to probably over 100 million ounces of gold. You've got the North Maluna in Western Australia, and the Zimbabwe Creighton in Southern Africa. So these are major gold producing greenstone belts. And as you can see, the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt is of the same scale as those, same geology, same age rock as well. But what you don't have in Finland that you do have in these other major greenstone belts is a number of discoveries. As you can see, you've got a number of major discoveries in each of these greenstone belts, as well as a number of large, and it kind of falls in a logarithmic distribution here. In Finland and in the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt, you've got one major discovery, and that is Agnico's Kittilä mine, or formerly known as Circa. And then you've got a couple of small ones here. So the geology, or as you say in real estate, location. Well, the location is just prime for additional discoveries. If we were going to find high-grade gold, it would be in this setting. And so this is kind of the first step that Mike took as to why he came to Finland. And of course, over and above all the other reasons that were given by Robert. Of course, a lack of exploration history, in particular for gold. As mentioned, the state-run mining company was in control of all mining up until the mid-90s. At which point, that's when Finland opened up to the EU. At which point, you had foreign investment come in. But up until then, their focus was on GDP-enhancing metals, so base and bulk metals. There were a number of gold discoveries, as I'll highlight, but none were followed up, and they were just archived and available for everyone to find. A little bit about where we are. So this is in the northern part, as you can see up in the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt. What we did was, aside from just being in the right geology, Mike did focus on structure. That is another major component of major gold systems. And he saw this one major structure here that was running kind of east to west. It's the Circa Shear zone. This is very near to Agnico's operating mine, the Kittilä mine, which is located approximately 40 kilometers from us as the crow flies. So, the best place to go look for more gold mines is where there's an operating gold mine currently. And so, of course, Mike took a look here. The structure that Agnico is on is a north-south structure, and this east-west structure was left pretty much untouched by any other explorer. There are a few other structures here, and there was a bit of a land grab in the north as well, on north-south structures. But this was left broadly open, and it was interesting because this major structural feature is a crustal scale fault. So it's actually been measured down to at least 9 kilometers deep. That's on the same scale as something in the Abitibi, the Porcupine Desert Fault, or the Larder Lake Cadillac Deformation Zone. So that in particular, that structural feature was something that Mike was interested in. And all these yellow dots along it are gold showings that were discovered by the state-run mining company and that were put away. So there are at least 40 gold showings along this structure. So if there was any better place to look, I don't know of one. It was, the structure is there. We know it's gold bearing, and so that's where we moved into. This slide shows our land position here. We've got about 80 kilometers of this 125 kilometer long shear zone. We've got several joint ventures on our property. So B2 Gold is a joint venture partner with us in everything here in this kind of bluish purple. Kinross is our JV partner in the green. And then to the far north, we've got this is more of a vanadium asset, and Strategic Resources, which is a Ross BD company, is earning into 100% on that property there. But for the purpose of this discussion and our discussion today, we're going to focus here on the eastern portion of the Circa Shear Zone on our 100% properties, Risty, where you've got a number of these stars, and Lowney here kind of on the lower end. So what led us here? Earlier in the early days, 2015, 2016, we walked the property and found a number of these quartz boulders sitting at surface, as you can see, quite large and angular. And interesting enough, they were gold bearing, and in fact, a lot of high-grade gold showing at surface in these boulders. The team walked the property, found over 5,000 samples, took over 5,000 samples, and those averaged over 8 grams per ton over an area that's about 15 kilometers by 8 kilometers here. Just to give you a bit of context as to the size of this, you could fit both Kirkland Lake, so the entire Kirkland Lake ore body is about 5 kilometers long. You can easily fit that within our property boundary, as well as the Timmins main camp, which is about 6 kilometers long. Both of those can easily fit within here, and structurally and geologically, we think we're sitting on very similar. We should be sitting on something of that scale, if not multiples of those on our property. But what I'm going to focus on at Risty, well, we've got a number of targets, as you can see within this area. Most of our work was done here at Amarusco. The reason why we picked Amarusco as our first target to put some drills on was there were 1,200 samples taken that over 25 grams per ton sitting at surface. And we've had success. As you can see, this is Amarusco, kind of hidden by the text box there is that boulder field. As you can see, all these purple dots all along are 1 ounce per ton or better samples that are sitting right at surface. Our first program drilled here at Amarusco Main. On our 42nd hole, we hit our discovery hole, and that was 2.9 meters of 789 grams per ton. We've since followed that up with a number of holes, as you can see, with excellent grade and width. This is all still near surface. We've only gone down to about 150 meters at depth, and we've drilled about 100 meters along strike here at Amarusco Main. In early 2019, we took the drill and drilled up at the top of the hill here because there was a little bit of outcrop. And again, we made another discovery, a little bit different, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And that's because the orientation of this was northeast to southwest. Here at the Amarusco Main, it's east-west, and we drilled into this, drilling 28 meters of 9.4 grams per ton, 11 meters of 23, 19 meters of 6.8. What's also a little bit different of here is that we started seeing some extensional veins coming off. So you're now talking about a wide zone of gold mineralization with a very high-grade shear vein that's included in there. Up here again, we've had excellent success. We've drilled this down to about 300 meters depth and almost 200 meters along strike from northeast to southwest. And the most recent at Amarusco was this gap zone. We've been trying to fill this in. We only got a few holes into it late in the season, and that, as you can see, we hit more gold, all very near surface. This all starts at pretty much at or very near surface. This in the gap zone was we only drilled down to about 50 meters depth, and again, we've had some great success in the gap zone. The zone we believe continues and is open to the east here. I don't know if you can see at the end of the arrow here. There's another block of quartz or samples that were taken. This continues on, and as we go on, I'll show you a little bit more as to how big this opportunity may be. A little bit of Amarusco Main. As mentioned, we've drilled this down to about 150 meters depth. A lot of high-grade gold has been intercepted here. It's about 100 meters wide now. This also continues to about 250 meters to the east, where we've drilled, another 1.74 of almost 10 grams per ton, and this is very shallow as well. what the mineralization looks like. It's this kind of quartz veining, very nice crack and seal veining here that you see, and that you see in other orogenic gold deposits. In Timmins, you see this crack and seal veining, as well as in Hope Bay. This particular section ran 3.5 meters of 22.6 grams per ton, including 1.4 meters of 52 grams per ton. So very, very high grade. It's very decent wide vein with a lot of high grade gold in it. At Amarusco Northwest, as I mentioned, it's a little bit different. While we still get that crack and seal vein in there, this is about a meter wide crack and seal vein. But you get these extensional veins coming off of it, very similar to what we believe looks like what it looks like at Kalgoorlie. So you can see a steep dipping shear vein that comes off that carries a lot of the high grade. And then you've got a number of these extensional veins that come off and sediments as well that all carry gold. And this is all gold bearing, this whole system at Kalgoorlie. So similarly, we've got this high grade shear. This one was 230 grams per ton. And then we've got tens of meters of these extensional veins that come off of that shear vein into the sediments. Those quartz veins in here, we've actually drilled up to about 50 grams per ton in these narrower quartz veins that come off. And even in the sediments, we're getting gold in the sediments now. We've seen up to 5 grams per ton gold in the sediments alone. So very, very robust system. And again, we're still very shallow, only having drilled down about 300 meters from the top of the hill. So very, just literally scratching the surface here at Amarusco. Just want to take a quick step back and just again show a bit of the regional endowment here. Amarusco is here in the middle. As you see, all these stars are surface discoveries that we've made so far in our property. A few that we wanted to highlight, and we highlighted recently in a press release, were Kerry Sparks or K2 here in the south. This is right on the Circa Shear zone, or the Circa Shear. There was some historical work there. About 130 holes were drilled at the Circa at Kerry Sparks, all ore grade, ore width, all near surface, and something that we would like to follow up on. This year, we actually had a chance due to COVID to do some reinterpretation work and desktop work at Kerry Sparks, and it's allowing us to move this forward as another high priority target on our property. The next area is this Nilly Gap Zone. It's the zone between our Notches discovery, and Notches is a 5 kilometer by 1 kilometer area that had about 2,000 samples averaging 3 grams per ton. And that's about 2.5 kilometers east of Amarusco. So this gap zone here had no surface expression and really didn't have any boulders sitting at surface. And so we didn't do very much work on it early on because it wasn't easily apparent that it was there. We've done some geophysics that I will discuss in a little bit, but that highlighted that there's some structural features here that we wanted to follow up on. There's some deep cover as well, so it made it difficult to trench, but we did do some base of till work on it. We'll discuss that as well. And the last little feature I want to highlight was this the structure and geology that runs kind of the entire north end of our property. It's about 16 kilometers of it. It's very similar geology and structure as to the recent discoveries by our neighbors, Rupert Resources, the Ikari and Haina discoveries up in the north here. And as you can see, this is actually right on our property boundary with our joint venture with B2 Gold. And that structure and geology actually continues on to the B2 Gold joint venture for several kilometers, and we believe it's also it's associated with the Kudavoma discovery, where we drilled in 2016. Actually, B2 Gold drilled in 2016, 11 grams per ton over 13 meters, and they're following up on that currently on the joint venture as we speak. So we've got about 16 kilometers of similar geology and structure that we will be doing some surface work this year as the season allows it. As mentioned, Kerry Sparks, this is about 4 kilometers south of Amarusco. These are the historical drill holes. As you can see, there's about 130 of them, 3 zones, Vanha, Lampi, and Tienvarsi. It's dirt road or gravel road accessible, as you can see, right off the side of a gravel road for us, very easy to access for us. And in the historical drilling, as mentioned, all ore grade or width. Highlight hole from that historical drilling was almost 5 meters of 11 grams per ton, including a meter of 39.3. We've had a number of holes that are similar to that throughout the historical. So we're planning on going in here in Q3 with a diamond rig to do some confirmation work, as well as some additional step outs on the structures here. At Nilly Gap, as mentioned, this is that gap zone. As you can see, there's a major mag feature that runs along here. On the west end here, just about here, you've got Amarusco. On the east, you've got the Notches surface discovery, and we've done some base of tills work, and that's what all these little dots are along here. What's important to note here was all these base of tills came in with gold grain counts that were well above the 95th percentile for the central Lapland Greenstone belt. So what that tells us is this structure or this feature is potentially gold bearing and is worthy of some follow-up drilling. We do plan on doing a scout program similar to what we did on our second flagship asset property, a little scout rig on this property at some point in Q3, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, just to follow up and to test a number of targets on this. So hopefully have a number more targets on the property. Just gonna skip back very quickly, just again. So as you can see, we've got almost an embarrassment of riches here on our property, with a number of gold bearing structures and gold areas and gold targets all over the property, all within a very small radius, and especially a very small radius from our drilling discovery at Amarusco Northwest. And that's just on our Risty property. In 2019, we did some prospecting work here on our Lowney property. This is about 10 kilometers south of our Risty property. It's on that Circa shear zone. It's actually bisected by the Circa shear. It's where the Circa shear takes a bend or a jog. And so generally when you have something like this in a major structural feature, it allows for a lot of fluid flow and for potential gold to be deposited there. So in 2019, our prospectors walked the property, took a number of samples, almost 2,000 samples at this point, and the total samples average about 5 grams per ton sitting at surface. It's all along this Circa shear. It's about a 1 to 1.5 kilometer wide by 5 kilometer area that they walked. What was different about the Lowney property from the Amarusco property was most of this was in a lot of this sampling was in outcrop and not in boulders sitting at surface. So the thought was it would be a little bit easier to make a discovery here, but as we know, exploration is never easy, and so but we have drilled it. We've had some excellent success. This is what it looks like. Here's a bit of the outcrop that this is the discovery zone, the Christmas deformation zone. As you can see, 1,600 samples at 5.6 grams per ton, with some excellent results up to 300 grams per ton at surface. So these are results of our most recent drilling. We've now drilled a total of about 40 holes on the property, actually almost 50 holes on the property. We've identified 2 main zones here. The first is the CDZ corridor. It's about 200 to 300 meters wide, about 1 kilometer long so far, of multiple veins, multiple narrow veins with some high grade in there. In the most recent results, we've had 0.37 of 63 grams per ton, 0.4 of 5, 0.7 of 3, and prior to that we had about 0.3 of 6.5, and this is all near surface. And so there's multiple veins that we've intersected along this zone. What got us very excited this go around, however, was this was all drilling near or under the outcrop. We drilled into an area here. We've got 1 hole really into it at this hinge zone. It was a blind target. There's no surface expression. It was identified by MAG. As you can see, there is a 1.5 kilometer long MAG feature here on this particular limb. But it's in particular, what was interesting was that it's a bit of a fold in the MAG, or what's known as a hinge. And if you wanted to think of some very well-known hinge zones that from recent discoveries, Great Bear Resources Dixie project, their original discovery was on a hinge zone, and with some very, very spectacular grades within that. So we were lucky enough to get one hole into it, and that hole did drill into a wide zone, what appeared to be over 25 meters wide. We had a lot of core loss, and so to yet be confirmed. But within that wide zone, what was recovered was a 30-gram sample, an 8.5-gram sample, and a 0.5-gram sample as well, and everything was mineralized anomalously within that zone, with everything that was recovered. But as mentioned, there was a lot of lost core in that drill hole. We were using that scout rig, which is underpowered, and a narrow core, and so the recoveries were pretty low in the challenging rock that was here. So we do plan to follow this up in the fall with a bigger rig, with a more powerful rig with a wider diameter. And in summary, and hopefully you did see that the big opportunity that we've got, we do have a lot of gold already that we've discovered. It's a big property with a lot of opportunities, a lot of targets. We do believe this is district scale. This is going to be the next major gold camp globally, and we are aligned. We are major shareholders, and we want to see the share price appreciate, and that's what we're working on. And with that, I'll open it up to some questions.
Hi, fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. We will start with Howie Flinker. Howie, if you could unmute yourself and ask your question. You're self-muted at the moment. There you go.
Am I unmuted now? Am I unmuted, Alexandria?
Yeah.
You are. That's
great, Howie. Thanks, Howie.
Hi, Mark. Hello, Dave. Please refresh me. How big is Kachila in resources and reserves, and is its total cost, not just all-in sustaining, total cost about $1,100?
I think it's a little bit below that on the total cost. I believe and I have to look that up. I know their total size is about just under 8 million ounces total resources. It is the largest gold mine in Europe. And all-in sustaining costs, I will have to look, or the total costs, I will have to take a look. But it is also a fairly low-cost producer, and you have to consider the Kittilä mine, or Circa mine is a refractory ore deposit. So they also have to deal with roasting their ore there as well, which does add to their cost.
It does. What's the all-in sustaining cost, if you can recollect, Mark?
Let me just pull that up for you. I think I just have it up in the front. I had it in the front here somewhere. I believe I guess total cash. So it's probably about 1,100. Yeah, all-in sustaining is probably 1,100 because you've got total cash cost. Yeah.
So all-in sustaining plus DNA is even above 1,100.
Yes. Yep.
And do they have a roaster?
They have a roaster, yes.
Oh, so their total cost might be above 1,300.
Yeah, no, I think that's included in that all-in sustaining cost number. That includes the roaster.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It should.
Original exploration and acquisition is not in all-in sustaining cost.
Oh no, you're right. No, sorry, yeah, your original yes, you're right. No, it's definitely higher than that.
Yeah. Appreciate it. All right, and what's their grade?
We'll have to pull that up. Oops. Apologies here.
Mark, while you're looking for that answer, I'd like to just take a moment to remind everyone that you can still send in questions to the chat panel of the GoToWebinar platform, and we can ask them once we've gotten through our live Q&A participants.
Thank you. Howie, it's 4.4 grams per ton is the average grade.
So there's people, Sprott, Beatty, I forget, Newmont, I forget who else are among the big investors.
And Kinross.
Kinross. They're betting that you will have a lot of ounces at a better grade at this market price.
Yes, and you know what they're seeing and what they saw was it's a fair large land package with a lot of gold showing at surface, and that's something that kind of struck everyone that's ever been to site, was the amount of gold sitting at surface. As you know, the Agnico mine is now probably at about 2,000 meters depth underground. Everything that we've drilled so far starts at surface.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Alexandra.
No problem. Thanks, Howie.
Thank you, Howie. We'll turn now to Heinz Thoma. Heinz, same reminder, you'll have to unmute yourself and then you can ask your question.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Mark, thanks for the presentation. What's your burn rate, taking into account that you're going to drill in the Q3?
Yeah, so as of right now, we are running with a bit of a lighter crew. We've got our Finnish contractors in there. None of our Canadians are on site, obviously, because of due to travel restrictions. And so our burn rate at the current rate is somewhere around $500,000 to $600,000 per month. And we're sitting, as mentioned, probably sitting around $10 million in the bank. That's available capital to us. We've got no debt, of course.
You have a lot of targets, and you're nibbling. When do you think that you are able to come up with a resource at some point?
I mean, there's a few ways of thought here. I think right now what we're trying to do, as you mentioned, we do have a number of targets, and I think what we want to do is get onto is to test a number of those targets to see if they're which ones are the highest priority. So we are going to put some drills on a lot of them, find out which ones will probably be the easiest and most efficient to drill. As you saw, the Amorusko target where we made the discovery is on a hill. It's a little bit more challenging to drill because it requires a helicopter, so it's slow, it's inefficient, it's expensive. But these other targets like Kerry Sparks, like Mountie, like the Nilly Gap, like Notches, it's pretty much completely flat, so it's very efficient in drilling. It will be efficient in drilling. So we want to take our best shot and find the one that we can drill the most efficiently and effectively at the best, at the most reasonable cost. And so as far as when can we have a resource, I don't want to commit to one at any time because I don't think we have we're set on one target where we want to put a resource on it yet. But even and then there is a downside to putting out a resource, as you've seen with a number of our colleagues and companies, junior companies. Nighthawk Gold put out a new resource on their property, and I think their stock sold off 40 to 50%, almost 40 to 50%. GT Gold put something out, and market expectations were too high, and they sold off 30%. So of course we're a lot earlier stage than where they are. We're not at a point where we can put 3, 4, 5 rigs onto one target and drill it off to a resource potential yet. Like I said, we're still at the point of where we want to make multiple discoveries on our properties to prove up how big of an opportunity the whole property package represents. And then from there, we'll decide on which one will be the one we're going to focus most of our attention on, and then we'll have a more thorough and robust drill program at that point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heinz.
Thanks, Heinz. We'll turn now to Murray Vandevelde. Murray, if you can unmute yourself.
Trying.
There you go. There you go.
Hi, Murray. How are you?
Oh, you muted yourself back. Hold on. You were unmuted. Okay, Murray, go ahead.
Still having some issues, I think.
Murray, can you hear us? All right, we'll come back to Murray. We'll turn to Rolf Wagner and then we'll circle right back to Murray. Rolf, if you could unmute yourself. Okay, Rolf, you are unmuted.
Hi, Rolf, how are you?
Okay, seems like we're having a problem there as well. Scott, did we have any questions chatted in? And then we can come back to both Murray and Rolf.
Yeah, we did. And I did want to say to Murray and Rolf, if you want to, in the chat panel, just type in your questions. In case we can't get you on audio, we'll read them aloud for you. The chat panel on the GoToWebinar panel there, that would be great. First question from the audience is, with the current gold market heating up, what does Aureon think their gold in the ground price will be per ounce?
What it will be per, and that's,
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's, yeah.
I'm trying to, yeah, because that can mean a number of things. Is you know, what do we believe our costs will be? And again, we don't have a resource yet, so we don't know. You know, as far as what our value, and you know, could also mean valuation. I know that a lot of juniors with resources have an enterprise value per ounce in the ground. And again, it's hard to get to. Of course, you know, we believe that, you know, the size of our opportunity is probably bigger than most of our peers that are, you know, pre-resource and that good mining jurisdictions that are high grade. But you know, until we get to a resource, we don't know what that valuation will look like. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I mean, it's a bit too early to say where it might be. I think, you know, given the high grade nature, given that it is near surface, from a cost perspective, I believe that we would probably be one of the lower cost resources out there. Again, like I mentioned, because it is near surface and very high grade. But again, until we have a full resource, it's too early to really say what a number is or what the range of number would be.
Okay, great. Next question, and this is from David Talbot at 8 Capital. Hi, Mark. Could you summarize what work is being completed on the JV properties this year? Might B2 Gold be interested in chasing some of the recent discoveries made by Rupert up on your northern boundary? Thanks.
That's a great question. Yeah, so B2 Gold completed a basic till program to identify a number of targets on several of their properties and on two of the JV properties. In particular, they have been drilling, and they do have a drill on site currently. Where they were targeting first was an area near the first hole that was drilled in 2016, so the 11 meters of 13 grams per ton. They followed that up with 3 holes in that area. And then it was around that time that Rupert put up their discovery hole at Ikari, and so you know, they obviously internally discussed it and wanted to dedicate some capital to drilling along strike from that discovery. I believe that they're waiting for permits on that currently for that particular area near the discovery. And currently, I think they're drilling up near one of their other targets called Sinerma, which is to the northwest along a structural feature as well, where they had some
I think Scott maybe.
Nope, I'm here actually.
You're
Sorry
back.
about that.
There you
Yep.
go. Okay.
The next question is, and you may have covered this in the presentation, how far are you from roads and infrastructure utilities?
It looks like we may have lost connection with Mark for just a second. Please bear with us while we get him back on the line.
In the meantime, perhaps we could just check in and see if we can.
Oh,
Oh, there we go, Mark. You're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what if you heard my answer to David's question or.
We did hear your answer to David's question, I believe,
Okay.
in full, correct? And then we had one more that came in that was, how far are you from roads and infrastructure?
So I'll show you some images. I don't know if my screen is still up there that they can see.
It is, yes.
Okay, so great. So here's the big regional map. Here are our properties in red. This is the town of Sodankala here. As you can see, roads run right alongside our property. It's all paved highway. Town of Sodankala has got about 4,000 people in it. Most of the people there are employees of Boliden's Kavitsa mine or working at the Anglo American. So as far as you have paved highway pretty much to site, and then on the property, I will show you some images that we've got. It's a logging road that goes right up to our discovery. This is all along our properties. It's very easy access. Just to give you a bit more. I apologize for jumping around here. But as you can see, coming along in front of our Amarusco discovery, that's one of the logging roads. The surface rights are to the state-run logging company. So our property is peppered with of a lot of these logging roads along it, which makes it very easy for us. So that's at Amarusco, and then as highlighted in our on Kerry Sparks, which is 4 kilometers south. These are all logging, gravel roads along. So access is excellent. To get to Sodankala, it's an hour-and-a-half paved highway from the city of Rovaniemi, and that's to Rovaniemi. It's an hour-and-a-half flight from Helsinki, and there used to be 4. I don't know if that's the case now, but 4 commercial airline flights from Helsinki to Rovaniemi daily. And there are 2 airports that we can actually access our properties from. So it's either to Kittilä or Rovaniemi, and then it's an hour-and-a-half drive from either one of those cities to Sodankala, which is where our field office is, and it's all within 30-40 minutes of all of our properties and all of our targets.
Excellent. And to tag on to that question, I know we're going to try Murray Van de Velde again live, but he did chat in his question and it relates to that. So I'll just
Sure.
read it. Can you operate year-round? And then he asks about the road transportation structure, power proximity, and the cost of power. So I wondered if you could elaborate on some of those power costs. And
Right. So as far as, I'll start with the first part, which is, can we operate year-round? Yes. Because it's fairly flat, we can drill year-round, summer and winter. We do generally take some natural breaks just to give the guys some time off, but we can drill year-round. The only place where we have, I don't want to say challenge, but where we were challenged because of the winter was here at Amarusco. As you can see, it is a bit of a hill. It's only about 200 meters high, but because it requires a helicopter to set up the drill stations here, we can't drill here and specifically in the winter with the helicopter. So it limits us a little bit here, but that's the only place. Everywhere else, it's completely flat and can be drilled year round. It's, while it is north of the Arctic Circle, it's not as cold as what we have here in Canada, what we experience in Canada, north of the Arctic Circle. The reason for that is it's actually about 20 degrees warmer above the Arctic Circle in Finland, and the main reason for that is It's the jet stream or the Gulf Stream that actually keeps it a little bit warmer. It's 20 degrees on average warmer in the month of January. So that also results in us not having we're dealing with permafrost, which is why you have such great roads, paved roads and highways going up all the way to site. As far as power costs and power would come from, currently we've there's grid power all the way to Sedankala, and it actually feeds all the mines. I do not know what the actual power cost is, as we have not had to consider that or price that out yet. But there is a very readily available grid power.
Great, thank you. And we'll check in with Murray in just a minute. We have one more question so far that's come from the audience, or two, I guess. Do you intend to continue drilling the 100% lands indefinitely, or is there a possibility of JV sale due to the number of targets?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the ultimate goal of every junior is to be sold at some point. We are going to continue to drill it until we have proven up what the opportunity is for a major, and hopefully they look to take us out, or there's always opportunity for other JVs and other opportunities to create value for the shareholder. Everything is on the table at all times, but we are trying to keep everything under our control, and we will be drilling as much as we can to prove up the value of these assets.
Great, thank you. Last question, which I'm sure you get asked: is Aureon related to Aurion Resources in any way?
Yeah, that's no. I'm assuming they're speaking of Aurion Mine Finance, which is the major streaming and lending finance company. No, we're not related in any way whatsoever, which is I think why we're trying to have a little bit of a difference in the way that the name is pronounced. So Aureon and Aurion are not related in any way whatsoever. No.
And just to clarify, the spelling on that was Auryn. Is that?
Aureon. Oh, okay. So
Aureon.
Aureon. No, we're not. That's completely different company. Aureon is obviously just merged with Eastmain Resources and renaming to Fury, I believe, and then spinning out their Peruvian assets into other junior vehicles. But no, we're definitely not related in any way whatsoever. Aureon is, like I said, mentioned. I think they were Golden Triangle focused and Peru, and now with the acquisition of Eastmain, they've got some focus in Quebec as well.
Great, thanks for clearing that up.
No problem.
Alexandria, I think we can go back and try our guests.
Okay, we'll try Murray first. Murray, did you have any further questions to expand upon the question that you trotted in?
No, thanks for the presentation, and very interesting. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Murray. Have a great day.
Great. Thanks, Murray. Let's try Rolf. Did you have a question that you would like to ask Mark?
Sounds like maybe an audio problem.
Yep, still having problems with Rolf.
Rolf, please send in your question and we will be sure to get it to Mark and get an answer to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, in that case, Mark, I'll go ahead and turn the call back over to you and let you wrap it up with any closing remarks.
Great. Thank you very much. I would like to take this moment to thank everyone for taking the time out to hear our story, and hopefully they see what we see, which is we think there's a great opportunity, an excellent new gold district emerging here in Finland, and hopefully they come along for the ride. If you do have any follow-up questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm available at any time for any questions. Have a great day.
Great, thanks, Mark. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their evening.
Great, thank you.